At Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.99 per month. Find your Crunch time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com. First on The Fan, Trailblazers looking for a third straight win as the homestand continues tonight with the Grizzlies in town. 7 o'clock tip on KUNP, 2.2 on your antenna or Xfinity Channel 302. DeAndre Ayton, Jabari Walker, Robert Williams III are out. Jeremy Grant is doubtful. Tumani Kamara and Ryan Rupert are questionable. The Blazers are 4.5-point home dogs. NBA action on 910 ESPN Portland tonight. The Lakers hosting the Nuggets. Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray are questionable for Denver. LeBron James is out and Luka Doncic is probable. That's a 7 o'clock tip. Pre-game coverage starts at 6:30. The game can also be seen on ESPN. The Nuggets are 2-point road favorites. The NCAA tournament's first four continues this afternoon. Mount St. Mary's and American battle for the 16 seed at 3:40. Winner faces Duke. Then it's 11 seeds Xavier and Texas, with that winner getting number 6 seed Illinois. Both games are on True TV. And the Dodgers finished off the two-game sweep of the Cubs early this morning in Tokyo, 6-3. Shohei Ohtani, Tommy Edman, and Kike Hernandez, each with a home run. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom, call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The Fan Merch Locker has a new black 1080 The Fan hoodie, as well as classic long and short sleeve tees. Get yours now at 1080thefan.com. This is Danny and Dusty.
Meringatang is going to be a thing.
You're not coining anything new.
With Danny Meringue and Dusty, the Fan Man Hera.
I'll throw some monkey sounds in there and call it good.
The old Danny Meringue pie?
Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app and 1080.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome.
The Fan.
Good afternoon! Hey, welcome in. Happy Wednesday, a wrestling Wednesday.
Tell me what to be happy about.
Oh, yeah, brother. I love wrestling. You know, wrestling is... It is crossed over. It is way more
Mainstream?
acceptable for adults to watch now.
When
When we were kids, it was just like only kids and then the crossover of Monster Truck Guy.
and weird adults.
Yeah. I think just adults are getting weird now.
It's real to me, damn it.
Right? Yeah. Like that's all it was. It's the dynamic has changed with wrestling. I was watching Netflix last night. Number one streaming show,
Yep.
Raw. On a Tuesday night.
It happens over and over and over again, man. They did their international tour, like they've been going through the Middle East, and Kazim Fumayide, who does a bunch of stuff for them.
R.I.P. Iron Sheik.
Oh God, yeah, the jabroni.
Do you think they would have brought him over?
Yeah, no, I don't think Sergeant Slaughter and Iron Sheik could
No.
really do much.
I don't
today.
think they would do that. Well, yeah. I don't know.
But so they've been barnstorming through the Middle East, and I saw him comment. He's like, if you don't think this has gone mainstream, watch these audiences on the other side of the planet singing every single entrance song, and just
I saw that
getting
Nate Jones
into
had
it.
that tweet. Nate Jones
Oh,
had
Nate
that
had
tweet.
it too, yeah.
Nate Jones had that tweet. But he's right. He is 100% right. Is that everybody is going crazy, and it is 100% a globally mainstream sport, which is so weird to think of where wrestling was and what it used to be. You know, like back in the days of Portland wrestling, like Portland wrestling was like one of the great regional wrestling federations that were out there. And, Vince McMahon, he's like, you know what? I'm just going to go pillage all of the talent everywhere and put it in one place. And holy crap, has that taken off? It's been interesting to see, to say the least.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Again, I don't have the capacity to get into it, but every now and then, if I'm flipping through, or it's on a channel that I was already watching or something like that, I'll leave it on for a few minutes just to kind of see what's up.
Yeah, I can't wait to really start diving into it with my son. He's gotten in and out of it, but I feel like this summer is where he'll find his love for wrestling. You know, when like nothing's on, because he wants to watch like basketball. He's really big into the TGL for some reason now.
I mean, that's who they're going for. That's who they're going for, man.
They got him. They got my daughter too, who's 11. They both love watching the TGL, which I was like, hey, you want to watch, the first four? And he's like, who's playing? I'm like, Alabama State and St. Francis. He's like, what? No. I want to watch the TGL. But I feel like he will love wrestling too. And I loved wrestling growing up.
Yeah.
Loved it. And like this text says, or people in our age range that grew up watching it are getting back into it. Yeah. I probably will once my son is really diving into wrestling. Hell yeah, I'm going to get into it. What are they calling this era?
I don't know.
Because the Attitude Era, that's
the strongest era of wrestling.
That's going to be hard to beat. Yeah. And boy, was that problematic.
Oh yeah.
Think about how many people's sense of humor, dark,
were defined by that,
kind of offensive. We're created through the Attitude Era. Hand up.
Yeah. Yeah. The darker it is, the more you're not supposed to laugh at it, the more I love it.
Yeah.
Denny Abbey is a big John Cena guy. He does the "you can't see me" face after the N1.
N1, baby.
I'm going to do some intrepid reporting tonight. I'm going to ask him what he thinks about John Cena's heel turn.
Oh, hey, yeah,
he's big John Cena guy.
People want
to I got to get Denny's thoughts on that.
Yeah, here's another one. Is this the final downturn or downfall of society? Hashtag idiocracy. Probably. I mean, I don't think it's the final one. I mean, the fact that Crocs are huge is probably the biggest sign.
Which is, people, if you don't know, Crocs as a company was saved because Idiocracy gave them a bag because they were looking for the dumbest possible shoes for their prisoners to wear throughout the movie.
Crocs were literally going out of business.
It's what saved them.
And they came in and just bought the inventory, put them on all the people in the movie, and folks bought them.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's people that are like, they love their Crocs.
Hey,
man.
look, I'm a Crocs ambassador.
Yeah, you are. You sure are. We have plenty of signs of idiocracy. Mm-hmm. I don't think wrestling is the biggest.
No, our plants aren't craving electrolytes yet.
Not far off.
Yeah.
But Wrestling Wednesday, it is back. I already see our first bump back, and I'm here for it. I want it. It's a Wrestling Wednesday. How you doing, Rust? You're quiet over there.
Just chilling.
You have the t-shirt, Jeff Rust t-shirt club of the day.
Yeah.
Sherman High School Phys Ed.
Yeah, good old Shermer High School Phys Ed. Yes.
What is that from?
The old John Hughes movies, Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles, I believe Ferris Bueller as well. I'm not sure if it was also in Uncle Buck. I think that's a John Hughes flick.
Wait,
too.
they were all the same high school?
Chicago.
Yeah, well, I know they were all in Chicago, but they were all the same high school?
I believe so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that.
That's nuts.
Well, John Hughes loved his Chicago
Weird
land.
Science.
Yeah, Weird Science. Great movie.
Kelly LeBrock.
Also, problematic when they go to the jazz club.
I
don't...
I mean, I think we could pretty much talk about that era as being problematic.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the throwback movies, very...
It's always fun to throw them on and be like, oh,
I'm
can't do that today.
But I think we need to learn from it.
Sure. I mean, hell, you get all the way out to Hangover.
Yeah. Well, I give, there's like my parents would always look at me and say, don't repeat that. Don't do that. Like when something came up in a movie like that.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't even,
I was like, huh, all right.
They wouldn't even do that with me.
I won't.
I would just snap a look to them and my dad would just shake his head.
Just give you a no.
I mean, I'll never forget it, man. My uncle was on the way towards passing. He had very, very, very bad cancer, and he came up to visit before he went out, and he was going to take me on a date. Just go have some fun. Go to the arcade. Go to a movie. And my parents asked him, "What movie?" He said, "Oh, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine." And he took me to. I was 11 years old. Took me to go see Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves in the theater, and that opened up with the I'm sorry, not Prince of Thieves, Men in Tights, and that opens up with the jail cell worker snapping the whip at all the hands. Through
I think
you
were far younger.
I might have been younger
than
than that.
11 or 12.
Whenever it came out, so it might have been 8 or 9.
That came out in '93, so
9.
you were 9. Yeah, yeah.
So 9. Okay.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
whole era for me, 9 to like 12 is a blur. But so I'm 9 years old. I really want to see this. And he goes, yeah, what am I going to do? I'm dying anyways.
Yeah.
So he took me, and the opening scene is he's cracking the whip at all the hands reaching through the grate. And then after he walks by, they all turn and give him the bird. I thought that was the funniest freaking thing I'd ever seen in my life. I remember looking at my uncle and he goes, if I ever see you doing that, I'll come back from the dead.
Well, you've done that a lot, and
Look, every time
let's just say Unc hasn't come back yet.
every time I give somebody the bird, that does pop up in my head, and I kind of chuckle.
All right. We got a lot to get to today. We had the first 4 yesterday. I bet they're doing the cocky walk in the selection committee today.
Oh, buddy, old Bubba's out there flexing.
Yeah.
Just like Vince McMahon coming down to the radio.
Oh,
on
yeah.
Wrestling Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
North Carolina at this point is his daughter.
Yeah, we are. They are peacocking today. We got 2 more games of the first 4 tonight that we will discuss. The Minnesota Vikings have made a decision at quarterback. That's my quarterback. That's my quarterback.
They made a decision. We'll see if it was the right one.
Well, I think it is. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
That's a worthwhile conversation. Oregon had their pro day yesterday, and Tez Johnson is getting praised and getting dragged for a decision that he made yesterday at the Ducks pro day. We'll discuss that. Got some NBA stuff to get to. A couple huge wins for teams in the Western Conference over some of the top teams in the East last night. Blazers get continue their home stand tonight as they bring in Memphis Grizzlies. Ja Morant finally going to play in Portland?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, so we got that going for us, which is nice.
Womp, 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 womp.
When's the last time Ja played in Portland?
I think it was 4 years ago now. 3 years ago. You know what? It's a pretty easy.
That's funny. Well, that's not funny, but kind of is. I've got 2021. Nope, 2022. Last time he played in Portland.
Yeah.
It was November 2nd, 2022. Ja Morant's last time he played in the Rose City, and that streak's gonna stay alive. He had 20-9 that game.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good game for Ja Morant.
2022, man. It's going to be 3 freaking years before he plays here. And it's not like it's an Eastern Conference team. You're playing them 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah. Yeah. You are.
It's so dumb.
Maybe
All
we
right.
could quit beating up high school kids.
It wasn't just that. He was injured before that even.
He was.
Yeah.
He was.
And that's
it was a hand, it was
broken hand, yeah.
Hand injury, then, beating up high school kids, then getting all, gunny while making it rain at a strip club.
Mm-hmm.
Look, there's a lot of reasons why Ja hasn't played here.
And
Good decisions are not his strong suit.
And beyond that, it's another guy that doesn't get it in the sense of he's got his own signature shoe with Nike. Like those guys typically, look, for whatever you say about LeBron James, he plays here because he knows that half of Nike descends on Moda every time he plays here. Like that is a thing that happens. It's like, come on, man. It's so frustrating. It's just like,
That's why the NBA is looking for a face of the league.
you're not wrong.
You're
not wrong.
They're desperately searching for one. All right, where we got to start this bad boy off? Carolina. They rise up last night, taking out San Diego State, and my goodness gracious, it was a tale of 2 teams from beyond the arc. Danny and Dusty on the Fan. First four started last night in Dayton, Ohio. Double dip. St. Francis fell to Alabama State, 70-68, for the chance to get their teeth kicked in by Auburn.
Enjoy.
That was a fun finish. We flipped that one on at the end. It was a really fun finish.
Great finish.
Almost at like St. Francis, just quite literally booted the ball out of bounds during a tie game with like 3 and change to go. And then Alabama State goes down, gets a score with less than a second on the clock. And they punch their ticket to the round of 64. Did you see, though, this popped up at a point when I turned on the game. They had, they have like the coaches' resumes, all that stuff. You see what Rob Krimmel, St. Francis coach? I went and I looked, because I was like, that can't be right. And it was his record at St. Francis. He's in his 13th season at St. Francis. Okay. Not a basketball powerhouse. But 13 seasons, his record is now 171 and 229.
Okay. That's
it's pretty bad.
Yeah, to be there for 13 years?
That's crazy.
Do you know somebody on at
I don't
school?
know. But he also has taken St. Francis to the tournament twice, right?
Which that'll buy you some capital, that's for sure.
Taken them to some college basketball invitationals, the CIT, if you will, which is, we look at these smaller schools, and going to a CIT for a power conference is a slap in the face, but for those smaller schools, it's something that they do hang their hat on. Yeah, this year, 16 and 18, the Red Flashes were.
How many?
And they made the tourney.
How many seasons do they have over 500?
With him there?
Yeah.
He has one, I'll look this up. He has one 20-win season.
Okay.
As the head coach there. But you go down, he's gone 5-24, 10-21, 16-16, 13-17, 17-17, 18-13, 18-15, 22-10. That was good. 20 and by the way, the 22-10 season, they did not go to a postseason tournament that year. They went to nothing.
Weird.
6-15,
not enough quad ones.
9-21, 13-18, 8-22 last year, and then this year 16-18, and made it to the tournament.
All right.
So, he is 170 and 228, and in conference 108 and 117. So under 500 in conference play too. I found that in the world of college athletics,
a bit surprising.
Surprising.
Yeah.
Also a little refreshing.
Yeah.
He's your guy. Got their guy. They got their guy. He went there. They're keeping him around.
I mean, imagine at a place like that. I mean, look, there's always somebody trying to get a job somewhere, but if you get a guy that's one of your guys and every, 5-6 years is getting you the NCAA tournament at that level, you're probably okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah, make it to a couple postseason tourneys, you're good. You're good.
I mean, you make the NCAA tournament, that's probably a pretty sizable cash flow increase for a school that size.
Yeah.
And so getting one of those every 5-6 years is probably something you don't want to be like, yeah, we can do better. It's like, well, can you?
No.
Because getting that basically once every graduating class is probably the difference between like teams existing and not.
100%. All right. The big game though was the 11 seeds, and this should just go. This is what it should be. The play-in tournament should just be all 11 seeds, right? Instead of having any of these 16 seeds.
Yeah, no, they shouldn't have to work their way in. They already worked their way in, man.
And it would affect though, the 15 seeds. All of a sudden, you would have some lesser 15 seeds that are in.
But that's how it should be.
Yeah, 15 the 2 seeds should
15 and 16 seeds should be bad teams.
Yeah, yeah. So it would affect that, and then all lines kind of get pushed down a little bit. But the intriguing matchups are the 11 seeds because those are truly the last teams to get into the
They're supposed to
tournament.
be.
Yeah. And what we saw in the 11 seed game was a blowout of epic proportions as North Carolina damn near put a hundo on San Diego State, 95-68. And
That's what happens when you get doubled up in the first half.
I don't know if I have seen a team just shut down and shudder like Brian Dutcher's Aztecs did. It was, for most of the game, they were shooting 17%. They got up to 17% at one point from three.
They couldn't hit anything. And meanwhile, R.J. Davis just burned the nets down.
As it finished out, and look, they actually made it more respectable at the end. San Diego State shot 8 of 27 from three, 29%.
Yeah. And R.J. Davis is just a heads up, shot 6 of 6 from three.
Meanwhile, North Carolina, looking like a team that has been mocked and degraded for the last 3 days, they look like they were trying to prove a point. They shot 58% from three.
Yeah. 53% from the field and 88% from the line.
They shot better from three than two.
Yeah. I mean, the game started with it. I mean, R.J. Davis just absolutely torched them in the first half.
And now North Carolina gets an Ole Miss team that, by most of the metrics, they should not be a 6 seed.
No.
I mean, they really shouldn't. They're not an explosive offense. They're really undersized.
Yeah.
And they are, that's a head scratcher of a 6 seed, especially when you have a team like Louisville that's sitting at an 8 seed where you're like, they seem way better than
Ole Miss
this.
has got a great coach, though.
They do.
Chris Beard's a great coach. Got his issues, certainly.
I think a lot of this has to do, though, with the fact that you have 3 1 seeds that are SEC teams, right? Or two of them. You have 2 1 seeds. You have Florida and you have Auburn, who are 1 seeds. And if you put that 8 seed is a really tough one to wedge in there because you have Georgia, which is a 9 seed, and they're on one side of the bracket. So I think they are on Houston side, right, in that 8-9 matchup. So you don't want to have conference teams playing each other in the round of 32.
So you had to stagger somewhere.
The lines get all messed up when you have 14 teams from a conference. So Ole Miss was the huge beneficiary of this, getting moved in that 6th line. But North Carolina, you could see them in the round of 32, and I don't think anybody's going to bat an eye at that.
No, not at all. And if you're Bubba Cunningham, I don't know how you could sit there on the sideline of that game last night. And if I were him, I wouldn't be able to wipe the stupid look off my face.
No, you wouldn't. It would be the biggest smile ear to ear.
To his credit, he sat there and was stoic, as opposed to a cackling hyena, which I would have been.
How about this, though? North Carolina could be in the Sweet 16 because if they get to the round of 32, it will be the winner of Lipscomb and Iowa State.
And Iowa State is without their best player.
Their best player, their coach after the selection show when they ended up getting the 3 seed was like, oh, BT Dubs, best player out. Sweet 16, North Carolina, after everything that they've been through, could be a hell of a story.
Massive boon for them.
It would be, and it would be huge for the selection committee too that has been mocked endlessly, but at the same time, West Virginia is going to be sitting there being like, dude, we could have done this.
Well, not only that,
and our coach just left because we got left out of the tournament for no reason, and now he takes the Indiana job.
How much of this is devil's advocate and this is me tightening the tinfoil a little bit, of the committee doing this knowing full well that Iowa State was going to be shorthanded. And you give North Carolina the best possible path for you to go, see?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Look where they are.
Right?
Look, I mean,
that is true.
North Carolina is still the 4th biggest brand in college basketball.
Oh, yeah. And there will be people that argue that they're bigger than that. There will be people that argue they're the biggest brand in college
Duke.
hoops.
It's Duke.
It is, but Carolina fans will tell you it's not.
No, look, Carolina fans, I love you guys. You guys give the best looking just
Carolina,
color palette
Duke, and Kansas.
Yeah,
those three.
Kentucky's without Cal does drop down a little bit, but yeah,
I think Kentucky with Cal dropped itself down because they were you have the number one recruiting class every single year, and you still find ways.
But
to lose.
everybody's still tuned in because of
it's Kentucky.
It's Kentucky. Yeah,
it's Kentucky.
Yeah.
Well, Carolina, that was a spanking, man.
I think that game was over in the first 5 minutes. It was over. It was crazy. I had it on in the background, and I was just doing some stuff around the house, and I sat back down and I went, "The hell happened?" Just kind of rewound it and just went, "Oh, this is over immediately."
I don't like to crush college kids for their performances in any single game. Miles Byrd was a guy who, for San Diego State, he's kind of one of those fringe lottery guys, first round guy.
Depends on who you talk to. He's very divisive in the sense of he's either a lotto guy or he's late 20s. But yes,
well, I think the lasting impression that is going to be for him is 1 of 5 from the field, 0 of 4 from 3, and 3 turnovers to go along with it. He looked disjointed, and the rest of the team kind of followed suit. And that's what it looked like. They took a look around and said, our best player doesn't have it tonight. We're out.
Yeah.
And that's a tough pill to swallow.
And that's what we talk about when we talk about markers with teams. When you have one guy, if the one guy doesn't have it, the trickle-down effect of that. And that's typically what happens when you're talking about basically 9, probably 10 seeds and back. Because everybody else from the 1 through 8, they've got depth. Yeah. They've got some, even if you don't have a star or if you have a really good player, you've got some upperclassmen that are helping balance, which gives you more consistency. That's the name of the game in college basketball. Yes, high-end talent matters, but it's not hard to go back and be like, look at UW with Markelle Fultz. They're god-awful.
Yeah.
Number one player in the country.
Yep.
They went, 2-15 in conference play? Lorenzo Romar gets fired. Just because you have the top end guy, and that's what the whole thing with Cooper Flagg was why it's so impressive, is that Cooper Flagg has been the best player in the country as a 17-year-old and 18-year-old freshman, while also leading that dynamic team. And you look further north at Rutgers, who has the next probably 2 and 3 pick in the NBA draft, but because there's nothing else around them, they look horrid. That consistency matters, and if you don't have the consistency surround those other guys, which is a little bit weird for San Diego State, because San Diego State is typically one of those teams a la Houston that has consistency and they have the stuff around you to kind of lift you up.
Yeah. All right, well, tonight we get Mount St. Mary's versus American University. Catch a fever on that one.
Yeah, that's one.
Winner plays Duke.
Yeah, that's the one that look. I have the monitor up during Blazers games. I'm not going to have the monitor up for that game.
Yeah, and then you have Xavier, Texas in the 11th.
That one I will have the monitor up for.
Yeah, that should be a fun one. So those are your first 4 tonight. North Carolina, man, that was a statement though. They look good. They looked really dang good. Yeah. I'm going to golf clap them.
Yeah, they look.
They deserve it.
They got talent, man.
They deserve it. All right. We have a decision. The Minnesota Vikings say, we moving forward. They've made a decision at quarterback. That, after Rust, with SportsCenter, where he surely won't talk about this story that we are going to talk about next.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Vulcan Design and Construction. Check out their award-winning outdoor living designs or schedule your free design consultation at vulcandc.com. First on The Fan, Vikings quarterback, something blah, blah, blah. The Trailblazers looking for a 3rd straight win as the homestand continues tonight with the Grizzlies in town. 7 o'clock tip on KUNP 2.2 on your antenna or Xfinity Channel 302. DeAndre Ayton, Jabari Walker, Robert Williams III are all out. Jeremy Grant, doubtful. Tumani Kamara, Ryan Repair are questionable. And as Danny mentioned, no Ja Morant again for Memphis against the Blazers. Portland are 4.5-point home dogs. Some NBA action over on 910 ESPN Portland this evening. The Lakers hosting the Nuggets. Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray are questionable for Denver. LeBron James out. Luka Doncic is probable. That's a 7 o'clock tip. Pre-game coverage starts at 6:30. The game can also be seen on ESPN. The Nuggets are 2.5-point road favorites. NCAA tournament's first four indeed continues this afternoon. Mount St. Mary's and American battling for the 16 seed at 3:40. The winner faces Duke, and then 11 seeds Xavier and Texas, with that winner getting number 6 seed Illinois. Both games on True TV. And super early this morning, the Dodgers finish off the 2-game sweep of the Cubbies 6-3 in Tokyo. Shohei Ohtani, Tommy Edman, and Kike Hernandez each hitting home runs. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Russ from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Jump back to earlier parts of your favorite fan shows on the Odyssey app. The only way to rewind Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
Minnesota Vikings have made a decision at quarterback, according to ESPN. They're going to be rolling with J.J. McCarthy at quarterback this year. Kevin Seifert, who covers the Vikings for ESPN, says, according to his sources, they are not going to pursue bringing in Aaron Rodgers this year. There was the rumblings and the rumors that Aaron Rodgers was they were waiting to decide on Aaron Rodgers and his future and where he wants to go. They've pulled the ripcord on that and
They said
nah, we're going to roll with JJ. And that's what we talked about yesterday too in all this, is that they've built a roster to help with JJ McCarthy. When you have Justin Jefferson, when you have Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson and Aaron Jones, right? You are looking at a team that is built to win with a quarterback. But what they did in bolstering their O-line and adding depth in the backfield, that was we need to be able to run the damn ball. And that's what they're going to try to do. And you want to do that with any quarterback.
Yeah.
But it looked like all of the moves were young quarterback. How do we build around him?
Yeah.
Not an aging veteran who's going to take up a bunch of money. Because Aaron Rodgers is still going to want his money.
Yeah, for sure. And it's an interesting move, I guess, is the way I would go with it. Because it doesn't feel like they're doing this confidently. The fact that you're even entertaining the Rodgers stuff just lends me to believe that even if JJ hadn't torn his knee, you're like,
Well, it's a great unknown because the guy, he's the first round quarterback to miss his rookie year due to injury. Like the entire year. Mm-hmm. He got surgery in August and they didn't see him. So there is a great unknown at what you have with JJ McCarthy, because everything coming out of the draft was between the ears. JJ McCarthy has it, right? He has the demeanor. He can handle a huddle in a locker room.
And there's plenty of talk about McCarthy being the guy that they were going to go into the season with. I still don't think that was entirely true.
Well, it's the physical attributes that you just don't know.
Yeah.
And they drafted him knowing that, but they had brought Sam Darnold in for just in case. We're going to see. And they're still at that point, because you really don't know until he gets out there and he starts playing.
Yeah, you don't know until the live bullets go.
It is familiarity with the system, the offense, and the people that he's around. I think that is a huge leg up in not playing last year, and he just got to sit back without the pressure of, hey, put in McCarthy.
Put the headset on and just absorb.
Darnold never gave them a reason to have those kind of rumblings until the very end of the year. But now you can see, you can feel a little bit more confident in rolling him out there. But I'm with you in that it doesn't seem like they're doing this in a full-throated confidence, but I understand why you wouldn't. I totally get why you wouldn't do that if you are the Minnesota Vikings, because J.J. McCarthy's never given you a reason to fully trust him as your starting quarterback because he's been hurt.
And he's never given you a reason for you to just say no, at least publicly. Now, behind the scenes, we don't know what that is, but it's definitely, I've got an eyebrow raised looking at what they've got going on there and going, okay, you invested real draft capital. You think he's going to be the guy. To be honest, I love the fact, not that I don't love that he got hurt, but I do love the fact that he sat for a year. I genuinely do. And I wish more teams were not only willing, but capable of doing this, in that more often than not, it's beneficial. And everyone's like, well, Jaden Daniels. I'm like, yes, you're right. Jaden Daniels. The first time we've seen a rookie quarterback be otherworldly successful. Now, CJ Stroud was good. Don't get me wrong. He was really good his rookie year. Those are the rarities.
Yeah, I've looked this up, in that the boom bust aspect of a guy starting from day one as opposed to sitting a year. It does skew more to, if you sit a guy, he is better off, but it's not as dramatic as you would think, because every quarterback is a boom bust guy.
Yes.
Like in that you don't know until you get him on the field. But I think that if you're taking the third quarterback off the board in a draft, at that point you go, it does behoove you to sit him for a year, because there's a reason why he wasn't one of the top guys. Like Jaden Daniels, he was one of the top guys and he seamlessly moved in there.
Also older.
Bo Nix in Denver was a perfect marriage of system and quarterback.
Also older.
And McCarthy he's not young.
No, but I mean, like, you're talking about two fifth-year guys in Daniels and Nix?
Yeah, but JJ McCarthy is still he went through college, played in a pro-style offense, but the system and the style fitting what you do, that has to be paramount. And we just didn't know that about JJ McCarthy because he was we're going to line up double tight and I formation, pound the ball down your throat, and I will get nickel and dime, almost Russell Wilson-esque, of hit you with play action. He wasn't asked to do what Kevin O'Connell's offense does.
No.
And Bo Nix was asked to do exactly what his strengths are. Jaden Daniels with Cliff Kingsbury was asked to do exactly what his strengths are and the things that he did throughout college. JJ McCarthy wasn't going to be doing that.
No, and that's the thing that I question with this is that Vikings offense and this is my personal criticism of JJ McCarthy and what people thought of him and how, I don't know how you project a guy that was never asked to shoulder a burden of an offense ever at Michigan and be like, yeah, no, we're going to make him shoulder an actual burden and we're going to run a very complex offense that's going to be pass heavy. And you've got some of the best targets in the NFL and you're going to be tasked with getting them the ball frequently as the lead guy. And I'm like, he didn't do that once at Michigan. Like I never got that.
Yeah. And
I know
I think
quarterback's projection thing and how everything can be different.
But I think he did win them games. He did win them games.
He did win them games, but you never went into a game going, JJ McCarthy is going to throw the ball for us 25 times for us to win the game.
He got them to the right, and this is the thing that Harbaugh always said. JJ McCarthy had such a mastery of the offense, he got them to the right play.
Which matters.
That's the most important
thing. It matters.
Like, I think that is the most important thing for any quarterback is get you to the right play. And that comes with your preparation, your acuity, and what you can do pre-snap. And that's where J.J. McCarthy is going to thrive. That's why I think what the draw was for Kevin O'Connell. But the questions of can he do it and throw the ball 30, 35 times in a game? And can he put it exactly where Justin Jefferson needs to get it to make a play on it? Like, those are all things that we need to be TBD, right?
And I'm not saying I am not out on him like I was with like Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Like immediately, I'm like, no, do not want. McCarthy, like he's going back, leading into the draft and watching some of his tape. I was like, okay, like he's got tools. It's not like you're like, oh, he doesn't have an arm. Oh, he can't put the ball where it needs to go. It's just he was never asked to do it.
Yeah. But he was. The Rose Bowl, he had some pretty incredible throws against Alabama.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying.
Like, I mean.
But I'm talking
he put the ball
the volume.
In some tight windows. And, yeah, because that was the system, the style, and, the most of those checks in that offense, and that's going to be the part that is going to be the interesting one, is he's going to be asked to check to a far different style of offense than he was at Michigan, which was, oh, you're going to lighten the box? Well, we'll just run it down your throat. Oh, you're going to have your linebacker playing, a half a yard over. It's okay. We can get outside and we'll climb because they had an incredible offensive line. There's a lot that's going to be determined with JJ. He's a rookie quarterback this year, and that's it right there.
So just as a singular point here, he attempted more than 26 passes, or 26 or more, 10 times in 40 games. Those came against Purdue, Indiana, TCU, which that's a big one, Illinois, East Carolina, Iowa, Michigan State, Alabama, in which he was 17 of 27, and he did have the big-time throws, Rutgers, and Maryland.
Yeah.
So twice on the big stage that he attempted more than 25 passes, and in neither of those games was well. I guess the Alabama one was a good game as far as overall consistency. But against TCU, he's 20 of 34 and 2 picks. It's like that's my whole thing. Is like most of the time it's the game management stuff. And if that's what you want to be, and that's what that's the thing that you're gonna do with him, great. But if you're gonna have all of those weapons, it just feels like a weird fit to me.
Yeah. And I mean, we can go down the list of quarterbacks that had prolific stats that sucked in the NFL.
God, yes.
So, the style of offense that he played in was pro style with Harbaugh,
100%.
and I think he's going to be good. I don't think he's going to be elite. And like this fan text line 503-864-6326. Jalen Hurts won a Super Bowl. He ain't no Dan Marino.
You're not wrong.
And
But Minnesota Vikings don't have that defense.
their defense is good.
Good,
Their
but
defense is really damn
it's,
good.
It's good, but that Eagles defense is the best defense in the league.
Yeah. They don't have a Justin Jefferson either.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
They got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, which are good.
Very good.
And they got Saquon Barkley, which is really good.
Incredibly good.
But you just got to be good enough.
My whole thing
That
is
division is really tough,
It's
though.
not that he's bad. I have hesitancy.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, he will be the guy in Minnesota, and we'll see kind of where the Vikings go from here. All right. Something happened today, and I just go down the rabbit hole. We started really early in the morning, and I could not pull myself out of this spiral. And I wonder if anybody else does this too.
I like holes.
Danny and Dusty on the Fan. This morning I was flipping on SportsCenter and I saw the results of the Dodgers Cubs game in Tokyo.
Indeed.
Yeah. Dodgers take both of the Tokyo series from, or guys, Tokyo pair? They call it the Tokyo series, but a series isn't that 3 or more?
No, because they call them that. You'll have some of your other crossover interleague matchups too, where like the Mariners and Padres do this all the time. Whenever they play, it's always a 2-game set.
Yeah. But
then they do it twice, but
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Because it's a set is a series, and I thought a set was 3. I don't know. I'm pretty dumb.
I don't know. In tennis, a set is 1.
Yeah. Of 3 games.
Yeah.
Right? Huh?
Well, first one
Within
is 6.
the set? Within the set? So I don't know. But anyways,
I know what throwing up a set.
the Dodgers beat the Cubs 6-3. And they won both of them. And I started seeing the highlights. And there's a lot out of this Tokyo series that is pretty incredible. One being the people of Japan love their baseball.
Oh, buddy.
Arash Markazi had tweeted out that on the resale market, he was over there for this series. On the resale market, tickets were going for $3,500 just to get in the door.
Which is more expensive than the Super Bowl.
That is bananas. Like they love their baseball. And then you just look at the Dodgers and Cubs lineups and you go, yep, get it. A lot of homegrown talent there.
Not just that. Shohei Ohtani is Michael Jordan in his prime over there.
Yeah.
He's the most popular person in the nation. Like when he goes up to bat or he's pitching, it's kind of like old timey New York when like you'd have the TVs or in the windows and stuff like that. Like entire city shut down and watch him.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Pretty badass. And then there's the replays, the AI replays. Those are stupid and we need to stop calling them cool. They look like a video game and they're glitchy and I don't see why people are going crazy.
Did you see the on-field
over
camera?
Well, it's not an on-field camera. It's an AI recreation of the Dansby Swanson play. Is that what you're talking about?
Is that what it is?
Yeah, they did it
Okay.
with Ohtani's home run, too.
It was crazy
It just
looking.
looks like a video game, and it's glitchy, and they're like, this is the future. It's like, come on. It's a simulated version of the play.
It was pretty nuts looking when I saw it. I was like, that looks weird because it looked like an over-the-shoulder camera.
Yeah, but it's not.
No.
It's an AI recreation
That's
of
what
of
you get
the
for
play.
watching on Twitter sometimes.
See? Yeah. And it just looked like some guy was like in, left center
Yeah.
field behind Dansby Swanson just videotaping him. No, it wasn't.
Because I was watching in my backyard when I was letting the dogs out.
Yeah.
I was watching that replay. And sometimes the Wi-Fi doesn't work great back there.
Mhm.
And so I was like, oh, okay, it must just be like an over-the-camera or over-the-shoulder camera.
Mm-mm.
And I was like,
No.
oh. I was like,
Mm-mm.
it's my thought process was, oh, I guess it's Japan. They're going to do some weird stuff and
No, they did. They did some
You
weird
know.
stuff.
hit the ground if the line drive comes your way, buddy.
I went in a rabbit hole, though, because every baseball season I find myself doing this, and it's usually around opening day. But I was watching the Dodgers-Cubs highlights, and immediately my mind goes to, there are like a billion Tony Gwynn hitting instructional videos
Oh, God, yes.
on the internet of him just talking about the art of hitting, how he hits. I watched probably 45 minutes of clips of Tony Gwynn just teaching people how to hit. I could watch that all damn day. And there's like certain people that you just go back to, and no matter what, you just will. I could listen to him talk about hitting all day long. I could listen to the Pete Maravich basketball videos.
Hubie Brown.
Those ones are the ones that I always like will go to, and it's like, dude, this is all still stuff that it's timeless that you can do.
I could listen to Hubie Brown talking about, and that's why he broadcasted into his 90s, is he was able to succinctly break down basketball better than anyone.
Yeah. The Bill
Anyone.
Walsh talking offense and spacing
Oh,
in
God,
football. That's the other one. Football's one that's really hard because the game changes so much, and we are just now getting into like the art of throwing the football and what mechanics are and route running and your footwork and stuff. It's all way too new, but you're gonna see like
Gruden's the best for me for that, for the film stuff. I mean, the Spider 2Y banana,
Yeah.
like, just like
And for future generations, it will be Gruden.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's kind of going to be where it is, or like Route God
Mm-hmm.
on social media, who does all the running route stuff. Like he's going to be
Mm-hmm.
that guy. But Tony Gwynn, for me, just like his voice it did not match his body at all.
At all.
But it's his voice and the way that he was able to teach the art of hitting. Unbelievable. Him, and then there's like old grainy videos of Ted Williams.
Yeah.
But those two guys, I could watch talk about hitting for days.
It's the mixture of their extreme talent,
Yeah.
their simplicity, their cadence. Like everybody, the best instructors, teachers I've ever had, and this is for me personally, are guys that could break the most complex things down to like 3 or 4 very, very, very simple steps. Then everything else was superfluous. And you just kind of, like, once you boil that stuff down, and it doesn't matter what it's for, just instruction in general. It's like, give me what I need, give me the best basics to work with, and then go from there.
Like Tony Gwynn's is your front foot, your weight should not shift. If your weight is on your toes, it should be on your toes. Your foot, you should just replace, your foot may move, your weight shouldn't. And then your top hand palm should be up when you're bringing the bat through the strike zone. He's like, everything else, if you have those two things, you can get everything else in rhythm. It's pretty crazy to think of the hardest thing. And he's like, yeah, it's super simple. And then he goes into like, so if I want to hit the ball opposite field, I just wait for it to come through the zone a little bit. It's like, dude, that ball's going 90 miles an hour.
Yeah.
How in the world are you like, yeah, it's super simple. Just wait for it to come through.
Just wait a millisecond longer.
But he does he's like, but it's a whole lot easier if you're not thinking about a bunch of stuff. All you're doing is saying weight balance, top hand palm up. I was crazy. So I went through the rabbit hole today.
Those are fun. Those are fun rabbit holes to go down.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If you have any Tony Gwynn videos, just send them to me.
There you go.
That's just, I always love to see the Tony Gwynn instructional hitting videos. All right, 503-864-6326. That is the fan text line. Smart move or dumb move? Pro day at Oregon, and Tez Johnson didn't run the 40, and there's mixed bag on why he didn't do it. Danny and Dusty on the Fan.
This is Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Jeff Resta with your Sports Center update. First on The Fan, the Trailblazers looking for a third straight win as the homestand continues tonight with the Grizzlies in town. 7 o'clock tip on KUNP 2.2 on your antenna or Xfinity Channel 302. DeAndre Ayton, Jabari Walker, Robert Williams III all out. Jeremy Grant is doubtful. Tumani Kamara and Ryan Repair are questionable. No Ja Morant for Memphis. The Blazers are 4.5-point home underdogs. Got some NBA action on 910 ESPN Portland this evening. The Lakers hosting the Nuggets. Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray are questionable for Denver. No LeBron James and Luka Doncic is probable. That's a 7 o'clock tip. Pre-game coverage starts at 6:30. The game can also be seen on ESPN. The Nuggets are 2.5-point road favorites. NCAA tournament's first four continues this afternoon. Mount St. Mary's and American battle for the 16 seed at 3:40. The winner faces Duke. Then it's 11 seeds Xavier and Texas, with that winner getting number 6 seed Illinois. Both games are on True TV. ESPN reporting the Vikings moving on from talking with Aaron Rodgers, leaving J.J. McCarthy as QB1. And the Dodgers finished off the 2-game sweep of the Cubs early this morning in Tokyo, 6-3. Shohei Ohtani, Tommy Edman, and Kike Hernandez each hitting a home run. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The ultimate basketball party, Fan Madness, is back. March 20th and 21st at the Stadium Sports Bar at A&A Sportsbook. More info at 1080thefan.com. Danny and Dusty.
My Uncle Gus is the uncle that likes to work the grill. As soon as he walk in the house, he's like, get away from that grill. You don't know how to start no fire.
With the latest on the Blazers, Ducks, Beavers, and the hottest topics in sports.
We're going to eat a hamburger, okay? Here we go. China, throw the match. Now that's a fire.
Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app and 1080.
I'm not cooking a brontosaurus burger.
The Fan.
Hour number 2, Danny and Dusty with you on this Wednesday afternoon. Thanks for being a part of our day, letting us be a part of yours. We're going to party on here as yesterday Oregon had their pro day. A lot of eye-popping results. Cam Alexander had himself a day. So did Dante Manning at their pro day. But Tez Johnson opted against running a 40-yard dash. And there's a mixed review as to his reasoning and his explanation as to why. Tez said that you can watch the tape and see that can't nobody catch me. I don't really think the 40 defines you as a football player. It just shows that you can run a fast time. He said, that's my time. I'm going to own up to that. When they say Tez Johnson 4.51, that's what I ran. And so he just opted to not run the 40 yesterday. And he ended up running routes, catching balls, doing most of everything else. But the 40 wasn't an important thing for Tez Johnson because he ran a 4.51, which is 29th out of 39 receivers at the combine. Mm-hmm. And I believe it was the slowest of any player under 170 pounds since 2003. But the mixed reviews is there's people saying, why wouldn't you want to compete, go out there and prove everybody wrong and why don't you run the 40 again? Prove to us that you're faster than that.
And which I think is a fair thing to ask. But on the flip side,
well, I don't think it is either. I absolutely loved what Tez said because we talked about this when he ran a 4.51. Watching him play football, he is not a 4.51 in pads and in a game. He did run the fastest 3-cone drill of any receiver at the combine. That's what makes Tez special is his explosiveness in and out of breaks, his quickness, in the fact that once he gets a ball in his hands, it's not a factor of I'm going to outrun you to the end zone. When he catches something underneath, he's going to make the first guy miss. He talked about this through the course of the season where he said, I look for the third guy because the first two, I know I'm going to make a miss. Now in the NFL, probably not going to make the first two miss, but that's how he operates because of his explosiveness and his quickness. That first step twitch is what makes Tez Johnson special on a football field. I think Tez is also right in this, in that his 40 time, if a team watches his film and get scared off by the 40, probably not a team you're going to want to play for anyways.
No.
If the 40 means that much to you.
Look, I mean,
Because his 10-yard split wasn't bad.
the one I always go back to is Anquan Bolden has basically one of the worst 40 times for a wide receiver ever.
Yep.
And he was just fine.
Just fine.
Just fine.
It's rare that a receiver is actually running 40 yards on a route.
No.
Okay, that's the other thing. I get with Tez, it isn't as much about his 40 time as it is his weight.
Yeah.
154 pounds
He's tiny.
is very small. And there is the idea that, well, you know, can't get hurt if you don't take licks. And he doesn't take a lot of them. But that Michigan game where he gets hit on the sideline, they go full weight of the defender on his shoulder, and he was out for a few weeks. I mean, that's going to be a question that teams are going to ask in the NFL. It's also, did Tez Johnson hurt his draft stock by running a 4.51?
Probably not.
Definitely not.
You
He
don't-
wasn't. No.
You don't think that it knocks him down for a team that might have been interesting? I think there's at least one team that probably dinged him there.
No, because he wasn't going to be a
The Raiders, because speed is everything.
Yeah,
Darius Hayward Bay.
he was not going to be a first, second, third, heck, even like fourth round pick. He was going to be like a 4th through 7th guy in his projections. So when you talk about hurting your draft stock, sure, if a team maybe flags him for that, it wasn't like he dropped from a first or second round grade down to where he's at now.
Sure.
He's still in the range that he was going to be in regardless of what he ran the 40 in. But he's just saying, look, if you can watch tape and you can honestly tell me that
I play as
I'm
a guy
I'm
like that.
4.51, that's on you. That's not going to be on me. And dude, more power to him. He's a good dude. And
Look, I'll say this as the non-Oregon guy. I never watched Tez play football and thought he was slow.
he isn't, because he's not.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
I never go, man, he's not making separation, because what you always saw was Tez making separation.
There's a lot in the NFL that is a big question mark for Tez Johnson, but his ability to run, if you're going to knock him for that, then do that at your own peril. It will be interesting to see kind of where he goes, though, because fit is going to be so important for him. If Tez goes to Miami, perfect fit for him, right? If he goes to, well, just take the McVay tree. If he is in LA, Miami, I don't think Green Bay with LaFleur is the best fit for him. But
Minnesota's a place that I could see him if they didn't already have Jordan Addison.
But they're not going to run this. They're not going to be, because Jordan Addison is now an outside guy. He's going to be a slot guy. He's going to be an underneath guy. And that is where Tampa and Jacksonville would be good spots for him to land because of the way they use their slot receivers. And then everybody's going to just go because of Bo Nix. Like Denver is Sean Payton's system, catch and then get your yards. Things being underneath, that's where he is going to thrive in. But it's very limited. I mean, we just went through there's only a handful of teams that fit really sticks with Tez Johnson.
That it makes sense. Yeah.
I'm excited to see where he lands and what his career looks like, though, because of the variables that are at play. He's undersized, didn't run a great 40 time, but when you see him run routes, you're like, damn.
Yeah.
He's good.
It's to make the NBA comparison. It's the guy that you say, like, well, the stats don't say this or that. I'll use Nate Clifford at Colorado State. It's like, yeah, he can score. It's like, well, he's doing it at Colorado State. And I'm like, look, man, I was talking to a scout and like, where do you have him? Like, I have him at literally at the tail end of the lottery, like 15, 16, 17. And he goes, why do you have him so high? He goes, I know a few other guys that have him that high. I go, because at some point in time, just getting it done matters.
Yeah.
And like being a player matters.
Yeah. I think if they're doing their evaluations, just go and ask a Big Ten defensive coordinator who kept them up at night.
Yeah, who are they worried about?
But 15 was a big reason why. All right. This may be one of the most niche things ever. And Trailblazers Casey Holdall even said it on Twitter when I posted it. You guys in your masters. One thing, Casey, love you, but you can go straight to hell on this.
Yeah, I'm with Casey on this.
No way.
I'm with Dusty on this.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Danny's going to be a sourpuss over here, even though he claims himself to be a foodie.
Well, I'm just saying.
Danny and Dusty on the Fan. Hey, the NCAA tournament gets officially underway tomorrow with the round of 64. We have the first four. I'm not calling that anything. The madness begins tomorrow. And our annual party is back. George McCoy at Warren Allen, Attorneys at Law, presents Fan Madness tomorrow and Friday at the Stadium Sports Bar at A. Dirt and Sprague, Danny and Ortner, Isaac and Suk, in the area's top location for the 2 best days of the tournament. Fan Madness is also brought to you by Coors Light in video only. Come by, party, hang out, join Fan Madness
It's gonna be a
tomorrow
blast,
and Friday
man.
at A.
And we've got I've already got some guests locked in to dive into the college basketball. The machine Kevin Pelton will join us on Friday.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, it's always great to have KP on, especially this time of year because he has all the modeling and stuff that we'll talk about with NBA prospects that are in the tournament.
Okay. Well, the madness is all tomorrow. Join us at A in the Stadium Sportsbook. But when the madness starts, that means that once it wraps up, the Masters is right around the corner. And Scotty Scheffler unveiled his Champions Dinner menu. I love this every year when it comes out. You don't like it, and you're a foodie, and you don't get in on the Masters Champions Dinner?
It's whatever.
What do you mean?
I don't get why everybody's so fired up about it. He look. I mean, he went out there and went like Applebee's on you.
Are you talking appetizers, cheeseburger sliders, firecracker shrimp with sweet Thai chili and sriracha mayo? This is right up your alley.
Oh, look, the food choices were fine, but I was like blown away by this because he went with the Chili's dinner.
Papa Chef's meatball and ravioli bites. Hell yeah. This sounds like a delicious dinner.
Sure, it's good.
His first course is Texas-style chili, a main course of wood-fired cowboy, ribeye, or blackened redfish. Damn, mac and cheese, jalapeno cream corn. This sounds amazing.
That sounds
Glazed
good.
Brussels sprouts, chipotle lime with a warm chocolate chip skillet cookie with vanilla bean ice cream. I love this. Every year when these come out, it's because you can definitely tell by the golfer who wins the Masters
That he has the palate of a child.
No. If they are a relatable person. And Scheffler is relatable.
Oh, for sure. There's nothing pretentious on the menu.
John, and why do you go palate of a child? Did you not listen to what is in there?
Yeah.
And did you hear what it's like Texas style barbecue, but the fanciest of the fancy kinds.
Again, it strikes me as like Applebee's or Chili's, man.
Oh my God. And you consider yourself a foodie.
Yeah, I mean, look, look, sometimes Applebee's and Chili's is where you want to go.
It is wildly similar to what he did in 2023 when he won. He did sub out tortilla soup for the chili.
Yeah.
I think that's a VIP move there.
There you go.
I think that is a VIP move.
Well, I read that he made the swap because other golfers were saying the tortilla soup was way too spicy.
Oh,
you got the Europeans. It has pepper in it, so.
All right. What do you think about Hideki Matsuyama's 2022 Champions Dinner? Is this a palate of a child? Assorted sushi, sashimi, yakitori chicken skewers, miso glazed black cod. He went Miyazaki Wagyu beef, A5 Wagyu beef ribeye mixed with mushrooms, vegetables, Sansho daikon ponzu, and then Japanese strawberry shortcake after.
Okay, yeah. That's a little higher end.
God, you are a pretentious food guy.
Well, no, I'm just saying, if you're talking, like, it's the Masters, man. He's got some great A5 Wagyu. Yeah, he's doing better than the wood-fired ribeye.
Well, you don't know where it came from. You don't know where it came from.
Didn't you just say it was Japanese grade A5 Wagyu?
No, I'm talking about Scotty Scheffler's. I'm talking about Scotty Scheffler's, man. You think they're gonna skimp on the quality of the meat here?
No, look, it's probably a really nice ribeye. It's probably a nice American ribeye.
You're damn right
Probably
it is.
comes from the 4.6s, huh?
Maybe. Dustin Johnson went. I think Scotty Scheffler's. It's up there as one of, if not the best, Masters dinners. Dustin Johnson went pig in a blanket, lobster and corn fritters, house salad, mashed potatoes and spring vegetables, filet mignon, or miso marinated sea bass, and then peach cobbler or apple pie with vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, that's got a little touch to it there.
That one is solid.
Look, I'm not saying Scotty's got a bad menu.
Are you okay? What about this menu? All right, tempura shrimp, spicy tuna, avocado eel sauce, tempura flakes with pickled ginger, wasabi, soy sauce for sushi on your appetizer. A prime steak and chicken fajitas with grilled vegetables, refried beans, Mexican rice, pico de gallo, sour cream, guac, tortilla, and then classic flan churros with chocolate sauce.
That's a bit of who had that?
Tiger Woods.
Yeah, look, Tiger went with little Japanese, little Mexican. Finished with the Mexican pow right there.
I'm curious what his first one was when Fuzzy Zeller said he was surprised he didn't go with fried chicken and watermelon.
Boy, that was the last we heard of Fuzzy Zeller. Too.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that was that's a brutal one. I love when we see these Masters menus because you would think golfer Scotty Scheffler would go pretentious menu that Danny's looking for, but he went everyman. And I think it's a low key solid play to go such heavy foods.
I was literally thinking that was swapping out the tortilla soup for the chili.
Those guys, all those golfers are just going to be farting and crapping all night long. And that's an advantage Scotty Scheffler because he's used to that Texas barbecue.
His system is used to processing it.
He's
but
been
the Texas
through
chili,
this.
though, that's no beans, though, right? Isn't it a proper Texas chili, no beans?
I believe so.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of beef. And a lot of spices, too. They're going to hit you with that.
Well, that's the thing is that's where the home field advantage comes into play. You got to make sure you use the heavy spices here because the Europeans just aren't used to it.
I get into this Masters menu quite a bit. I love seeing it every year and then looking at the past champions dinners and just being like, I feel like I could hang out with this guy. And I think Prison Scotty Scheffler is somebody that I could hang out with now.
Well, I mean, think about it. Like if you're one of those English, Scottish golfers, and if you've ever stumbled into the world of TikTok that has the people that come over from the UK and try food with spice in America for the first time, number one, like mild to medium is the hottest thing they've ever had in their entire life.
Yeah.
Number two is like they don't understand that their food is allowed to have flavor.
Okay, I will show you Danny Willett's. Danny Willett, Irish, I think.
Okay.
Mini cottage pies. A Sunday roast, which was prime rib, roast potatoes, vegetables, Yorkshire pudding, gravy, with an apple crumble and vanilla custard.
Yeah,
and coffee and tea.
Yeah, basic and flavorless as you could possibly imagine.
Yeah, that was Danny Willett. To your point, that was Danny Willett's. Yeah, I'm with you. Spieth had I like the Southern boys. They're bringing it. Spieth had a good one. Scheffler, I think, is knocking it out of the park. I think that dinner, you're telling me you would not love to have that dinner that Scotty Scheffler put out there?
Oh no! Again, every now and then you want to make the trip to Applebee's or Chili's. I'm not against it.
But this is not Applebee's or Chili's. What you're saying is like,
look, it's the higher end of like what you would get there, sure. But
no,
it's like
this is what you would get at the Ringside or El Gaucho.
No,
they have sliders. They have sliders. Okay. They have firecracker shrimp. They have ribeyes. And so you're gonna sit there and say, "Yeah, that's an Applebee's." Get out of here!
I'm just saying.
Get out of here! Get out of here.
Look, you don't go get the sliders at El Gaucho. You go get the steak.
But that's why it's an appetizer. This is why they're having their, bourbon, and they're sitting around, and all the past champions are talking in their green jackets. And then they say, all right, go take a seat, and we're going to hit you with the main course.
There you go.
And you're going to be farting all night.
I mean, look, ribeye is my favorite cut, so I'm getting down with a ribeye. When I go to one of the steakhouses here, that's what I get. So I
Cowboy
get it.
ribeye.
I get it.
But so you're calling that Applebee's? You get the Applebee's order then when you go to a nice steakhouse?
I go very simple, man.
I think you're hating just to hate on this one.
I'm not. Again, I wasn't hating on it, but I just don't get
What
excited.
would your
about
master's dinner be then?
Oh, God. What way would I go? I'd probably go lamb. That'd probably the path that I'd go. Some
baby killer.
Yeah. With perhaps some mint jelly. I definitely my I don't really have a ton of favorite desserts. So probably my two favorites are cheesecake and lemon bars. So it'd probably be one of those two.
Okay.
But appetizers, I like the idea of the sushi because I'm a big sushi.
So you're gonna
guy.
go sushi to lamb.
Mm-hmm.
That's a choice.
Yeah.
Now you're finding out how hard it is to put this menu
that's the
together.
thing, like I love sushi and I love lamb. So you know what I'd probably do? I'd probably do like a Mediterranean start.
There you go.
That's probably what I'd go
See,
with.
I appreciate he's got
It all
this
comes
is
together.
Texas
Yeah.
dinner.
Yeah.
This is Texas family dinner, but fancied up. We just went to church. This is Sunday dinner down in Texas.
I definitely lean pretty Mediterranean, I think. It would go one of two ways. It would go Mediterranean or Mexican.
See, exactly. But your initial thought was to just go a little taste of the world.
Yeah.
And I think that would be widely dragged.
Yeah.
It would not make sense.
Well, I mean, Tiger went sushi into fajitas.
I know.
Like,
he went Asian fusion.
yeah, look, shout out to Koi Fusion, man. Well, I'm about that life. I look, you're talking about two of my favorite foods. Fajitas and sushi are pretty damn high.
Yeah. But that's a far cry because the Asian Mexican fusion actually is a thing.
It does exist.
The lamb
sushi, the Mediterranean Asian. Probably not a great one. That's not I just went with two of my favorite foods.
And that's what you would want to go. You play the hits of what you like.
Yeah.
But it's got to make sense.
You could do because when you go with lamb, you can go so many different ways.
Yeah.
You can go like at barbecue lamb. Like you could go down that path. You could go down like lamb shanks. You could go rack of lamb and really get pretentious.
Ooh, now we're talking.
Or I could go whatever your second entree is.
I can tell you right now, it wouldn't be fish. As much as I love sushi, I am not a fish guy.
They always have like a fish option.
Yeah,
and that's for the people that don't like fish though, or that don't like, I don't know, red meat in this case with Scheffler, or eating child sheep. If they don't like that, they would go for the fish option.
I'd probably have to push back that. Go chicken. Chicken.
You okay with with the chicken?
Or if you want to be really pretentious, instead of chicken, let's go duck. Duck and lamb.
There's a lot of people that would not like that dinner.
I'm probably skipping that one.
Yeah, opting out. Fuzzy Zeller ain't taking that.
Yeah.
Look,
I'm loading up on the sliders.
Look, and that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Is Scotty Scheffler's trying to give him the farts? I'm just being like, starve. You got to send a message with your meal, Dusty.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I'm picking up what he's putting down there.
You want to pick dinner? Win.
Yeah. I have the green jacket. I pick what we eat here. Anybody else, go take a hike, pally.
Have some fun with it.
This texter says they better hope they never have a Swedish winner.
Oh God. Some lutefisk.
There's
Meatballs.
There was no Swedish winners because I do not believe
Look, man,
that Henrik Stenson has won a
Maybe
Masters.
a little lefse.
I am almost. It's what am I? Like almost 60% Irish, and the remaining of me is Danish.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of my people have good food.
Yeah,
at all, in any way, shape, matter, or form.
I have Charles
ugh.
Schwartzel in 2012 went with an iced seafood display as his appetizer: shrimp, lobster, jumbo, lump, crab meat, oysters, king crab legs, and then he went international cheese charcuterie board. Whatever. And then his featured specialties were, I don't even know what this is, sliced biltong, Biltong Strix, Dorwurs, Philadelphia cream cheese topped with Wellington cheese chili sauce. I have no idea what that is. And then they had South African barbecue.
Biltong is like jerky.
Oh, there you go.
I guess that's not bad. I'd feel like Tom Hanks in Big and just be like, "Can I get like a milkshake or something?"
He went, yeah. And then he went grilled filet mignon, lamb chops, chicken breast with monkey gland sauce. What is that? I have no idea. So that South Africa, he went traditional to his country.
Yeah, I thought I remembered this. So Biltong, it's legal in the U.S., but it has to go through an incredibly crazy inspection process because there have been multiple outbreaks of mad cow disease in South Africa.
Oh,
yeah, it's not quite jerky. It kind of looks like charcuterie, but it's usually made with lower grade meats. Which again, South Africa. This is again why if you're ever traveling the world and your meat is local, don't.
All right, perfect.
There's like make sure you're getting like U.S. or
American meat.
If you're eating red meat around the world, really anywhere, make sure it's U.S. or Japanese.
Okay, there we go.
That's kind of a thing if you're going to travel. Otherwise, your stomach may not handle that well.
Yeah, you're going to get the mud butt.
Oh, boy. Not great, Bob. You don't know how good you have it here until you travel the world and you go, oh, my stomach is not prepared for this.
Not it, Bob.
Not great. Speaking of not great, coming up at our worst day in the web, normally we keep it out of the sports world and we keep it out of the political world. We're going to hit both here as the history of Jackie Robinson has been erased, restored, and back again. I don't know. It's all very, very dumb. But we'll get to that and more. But first, it's the Big Kahuna Sports Center update.
That's that Hawaiian burger joint.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, the Trailblazers looking for their third straight win as the homestand continues tonight. The Grizzlies are in town. 7 o'clock tip on KUNP. 2.2 on your antenna or Xfinity Channel 302. DeAndre Ayton, Jabari Walker, Robert Williams III, all out. Jeremy Grant doubtful. Tumani Kamara and Ryan Rupert are questionable. No Ja Morant for Memphis. The Blazers are 4.5-point underdogs. Some NBA action over on 910 ESPN Portland this evening. Lakers hosting the Nuggets. Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray are questionable for Denver. LeBron James out. Luka Doncic probable for LA. 7 o'clock tip. Pregame coverage starts at 6:30. The game can also be seen on ESPN. NCAA tournament's first four continues this afternoon. Mount St. Mary's and American battling for the 16 seed at 3:40. The winner faces Duke. Then it's 11 seeds Xavier and Texas, with that winner getting number 6 seed Illinois. Both games on True TV, and ESPN reporting the Vikings moving on from talking with Aaron Rodgers, leaving J.J. McCarthy as QB1. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Russ from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The inside story on the Blazers, Ducks, and Beavers. Danny and Dusty. Weekdays noon to 3 on the Odyssey app and 1080 The Fan. It's time for today's worst day on the web. With Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
Man, that sucks!
We're going to do a quick little pivot to get things back on track here. We're going to go into the Jackie Robinson story because it needs more time than we have here. What's the worst thing you could leave behind in a hotel room?
Me personally, I don't know, your wallet.
You know what?
Like
That's
leaving it?
That's Dusty. You just nailed it so good because somebody left their live wallet in a hotel room in Michigan. A freaking alligator.
Oh. So they just like checked out and left this gator in the room?
So in Michigan, of all places. So this isn't even Florida manning.
Oh.
So the cleaning crew in Michigan decided they were going to go into the hotel room and they were doing their normal thing, looking under the bed, and thankfully nobody's head was bitten off because Wally the alligator, a 3-year-old alligator, was found in a hotel room.
So wait, was this like they checked out, left, or gone, or they were out for the day and were like, you know
Checked
what?
out.
Okay, so they didn't want this alligator anymore, so they just
No. Dude forgot him.
Okay. How do you forget your alligator?
So this guy is a owner of exotic pets. Number one, the gator, very friendly, took a bunch of pictures and
All
even
right.
like posed with the cops. Didn't
Now-
take any snaps to anybody.
Now I know.
He's
This
an-
is Joe Exotic.
This is exotic pet owner who like takes them to elementary schools for demonstrations. So he's basically bootleg Jack Hanna.
All right. Yeah.
He goes, I thought he got out. I looked for him and I couldn't find him.
Well, in a hotel room? What? You didn't look very hard.
Yeah, he's 3 foot long.
You did not look very hard. It's a hotel room. Check under the bed. Maybe he was afraid he was going to get his face bitten off when he looked underneath the bed.
Yeah, I mean, it's let's say it's a little area where you can't quite get your face into. You're just going to blindly stick your hand under the mattress.
Something tells me that he just went with the, hey, Wally, you in here, bud? No, I don't know. He must have got out.
Gone.
But, okay. So did he call in that there was an alligator on the loose?
No.
Okay.
So he
this
didn't think it was in the room.
he was just like, got out. Well, not my problem anymore. If it got out, where'd it go, Pally? It went down the hallway?
Also, it's Michigan. It's not like it's like safe.
Oh my goodness. This guy. I like this. And he's the one taking the pets to elementary schools. All right. Yep. He definitely is checking all of the boxes there for safety.
Yeah. Yeah. Put a leash on that thing, baby, dude. But I do love that you went wallet. It's perfect because this is where your wallet starts.
Alligator wallet right there.
There you go. So,
Yeah.
all right, getting things back on track here. We will now get to the Jackie Robinson story, his military history, it being removed from the records. Jeff Passan doing the Lord's work and talking about why, what he did and why it was removed and why it's now back. We'll get that more on Danny Dusty today, the fan.
Check out
there's so many things going on with this story.
Tell me more.
And I have some personal attachment to this. People are like, oh, and let me guess, you're a veteran. Yeah, I know. But I do. And I've actually had this discussion about how we talk about veterans in general, that, to use the phrase, fall under the DEI category. And you're talking about your non-white males and their service record in the military and things that they've done that have stood out. And this is maybe going to come across as conflicting or combative. But I'll get into the story first and then kind of go into all of this. So, in the sweeping changes to rid the military world of DEI, the history of Jackie Robinson's military service was deleted from the interwebs. Was that last night or the day before?
It was, I believe, on Monday, and then people started noticing it yesterday.
So, Jeff Passan, doing the Lord's work, as it were, chronicling all of this, ESPN baseball reporter. And Jackie Robinson, much like so many athletes from that era around World War II, served in the military. And part of his record, and for those that are wondering, this is on the Department of Defense website that chronicles all this stuff. And Jackie Robinson's story is a little bit different because he was an African-American man in World War II before the Civil Rights Movement. And much like the Tuskegee Airmen and so many others, men of color in general, segregation and discrimination were a part of his experience in the military. And the story that is highlighted in his record is that after joining the military, he went to Fort Riley, Kansas. He was commissioned as a second lieutenant before joining the 761st Tank Battalion, otherwise known as the Black Panthers, which is much like the mechanized version of the Tuskegee Airmen in an all-black unit.
And this was also, I mean, one of the parts of Jackie Robinson's story in the military, though, is rising to second lieutenant. He went because he had the qualifications to go to OCS school, officer candidate school, and was denied an application, yes. And they were all delayed because they were black, right? Yes. Eventually, the United States military relented because there were like protests about not allowing black men to be officers in the United States military. Well, he eventually finished the OCS and was a second lieutenant in the United States Army fighting for the United States of America. Pretty good story.
But it doesn't end there. A year later, he boarded an Army bus, and the driver asked him to go to the back of the bus, and Robinson refused. And this is, again, when you had segregated seating on buses still. And this is, more than a decade before Rosa Parks. This is where things get different in that he was court-martialed for this. World is different when you're in the military. What is punitive in the civilian world, or what is punitive in the military world, may not be so punitive in the civilian world. But he was later acquitted. I want to say that case actually went on for like a year and a half, if I remember right. But he spent the majority of his career at Camp Breckenridge, where he coached Army athletics. Which,
pretty good coach. I mean, he was a 3-sport athlete at UCLA and an All-American.
Yeah, pretty good. Stories like his, stories like the Tuskegee Airmen, the Navajo Code Talkers, who were instrumental in their ability during World War II. There's been a couple of different movies that have been made about them.
Wind Talkers.
Yes. Truly incredible because it was a language that was impossible to break without somebody who spoke that tongue.
Japanese were breaking the United States codes left and right because they were in English. Well, Navajo, they had no idea where to even start. It was instrumental.
Yes.
In the Pacific Theater.
In the Pacific Theater, correct. And these stories unequivocally should be told and celebrated for various reasons. Where this, number one, taking it down should not happen. Absolutely not. And let me just get that out there. because of the pressure, it has now since been restored
Yep.
on the DoD website, and it should be. Where this becomes an issue for me, other veterans, active service members, is when we talk about the actual DEI stuff.
Yeah.
It's very different. And I'm going to sound, this is going to irritate some of you. DEI has no place in the military. None. Absolutely none when you're talking about the selective service. None. We do not need equity or diversity in the military in the sense of quotas or meeting or matching. You want anyone and everyone who qualifies. You are not looking to lower standards for anything or anyone.
Standards should not be lowered. I agree with standards not being lowered. That is not a diversity, equity, inclusion situation.
No.
That is
It is
national security.
It is a war-fighting apparatus.
It is security of the people that you were around.
But in highlighting the diversity within our services, we should. We were just at Arlington National Cemetery when we went to Washington, D.C., and it broke me to my core. It was the first time I had been inside the gates, and when you go up and down, there are sections that are lined with women. There are sections that are lined with African-American service members. There are sections that are lined with Jewish members.
Yep.
There are sections that, like, every bit of diversity. And that was also removed from the Arlington National Cemetery website. Not highlighting the sacrifices of those communities. That is different than talking about standards.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can celebrate all of this stuff, and we should celebrate all this stuff, particularly with how despicably we have treated some of those groups across the military.
No doubt about it.
Because, and this is the same thing that I will believe and I will hold true no matter what. If you're old enough and you are true enough to sign that dotted line, I don't give a damn who you believe in, what you look like, where you came from.
Yeah.
There is no bigger melting pot in this country than the military. It's all walks of life. Poor, rich, every race, every level of intellect, damn near, from, the MIT graduates all the way down to the crayon-eating Marines. Yes, I'm taking my shots here. You guys deal with it. We need to celebrate those that stand out in those communities.
And that is true. And look, they're going to reinstate Jackie Robinson's post, but the reality of it is that, look, they're taking anything DEI down, which is anything that is not white male. And that is also an issue.
Yes.
That is a big issue because that isn't a DEI mandate. I mean, you can call it what it is. You are sitting there and removing every other race and gender except for white males. That's a problem, right? That is racist and sexist in I mean, pretty clear.
Yeah,
right?
and
just by taking all of it out, including guys like Jackie Robinson, yes. Right? Like we were at Arlington National Cemetery, we were hosting our show from the Women of Military Museum, yes. Right? Taking all of it out. There is no place in that because highlighting the sacrifices and the contributions that they had, that's not DEI. Like, look, there is, with the whole, the quote unquote wokeism has gone in some instances way too far.
Yes.
Right? Sometimes it has, but that's not what this is fighting. And like, I had to go to Jeff Passan's Twitter page just to make sure it wasn't like we're getting ball sack sports on this. And I had to make sure it was like the verified Jeff Passan with 1.2 million followers, because the response when Passan reached out to the Department of Defense, it was mind-blowing what their response was. This is from the press secretary of the Pentagon. As Secretary Hegseth has said, DEI is dead at the Defense Department. Discriminatory equity ideology is a form of woke culture Marxism that has no place in our military. It divides the force, erodes with cohesion, and interferes with the services of core warfighting mission. We are pleased with the rapid compliance of the department and the directive removing DEI content from all platforms. In the rare cases that content is removed, either deliberately or by mistake, that is out of the clearly outlined scope of the directive. We instruct the components and they are correct with the content accordingly.
There is a part
that that's not what happened here.
No, there is a part of that
like,
I agree with.
Crazy. But
and
also changing what DEI is, they quite literally changed diversity, equity, and inclusion to discriminatory equity ideology.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and even changing that, how does that explain away what they did, erasing basically everything that was not, like you said, white male?
Right.
And that end is lies the problem. And
there you go.
Because here's the thing. It's great when we can celebrate the first, African-American Medal of Honor winner. But when you're talking about those kind of things, the fact that that person is different than the white male.
Yeah.
And this is the part where I'm probably going to irritate some people. I don't think we necessarily need to celebrate that what they are. Because as a military, that's not supposed to matter.
It's the heroes, it's the sacrifices,
and the collective.
And remembering and celebrating those people, regardless of
anything.
Your race, gender, ethnicity. It does not matter. And that's the part that is just like, it's soul crushing that it's like the erasing of all of it.
Yeah.
All of the contributions that have been made to our military, to our country.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the part that it hurts because it's all just getting lost in some political bickering that is happening right now.
Because and here's the thing, and this isn't like a slippery slope, and I know we're up against it, but
yeah.
Where I understand this, being on the other side, and I'm sure there's people that are texting in right now or kind of backing me up on this and that are veterans, in the sense of, if you celebrate one, you have to celebrate this one and 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 this one. And for those of you that have not served in the military, that's not what it's about. It's about the collective. It's about the whole. It is about all of us. And while we can uplift and we can absolutely and should celebrate exceptional experiences, like the Code Talkers, like the Tuskegee Airmen, like Jackie Robinson, this is going to sound weird, but we have to be careful how far we go with that.
Yes. Because
it can't ever be bigger than the whole. And I do get that argument, and I know there's some nuance in there, and some people are like, but, I'm just saying, as somebody that's been on the inside of that fence, you do have to be careful with that stuff, because all of this is precedent, and all, like, how you talk about awards and how you talk about everything. If you want to cry, go to the Medal of Honor website and read a citation.
Yep.
If you can get through it without crying, you don't have a soul. And I don't care who they are or where they came from, because what they did stands out above everyone else.
Yep.
And that should be the standard for all of this stuff. It doesn't mean we can't acknowledge it, nor we should acknowledge it.
We should not ignore it and act like it didn't happen.
Exactly. And I think that's the problem, is that right now politically you've got two extremes that can't come to even normal semblance of thought.
These stories of Ted Williams and Jackie Robinson should be celebrated as one, because those were two guys that they put their professional baseball careers completely to the side, whether it was by choice or by the draft, but then they went and they served their country valiantly. And that needs to be celebrated.
Yes, because, and again, those are exceptions.
Yeah.
And for grand exceptions, we can make those rules. Yep. Otherwise, tighten it up. I'm not okay with that. So, like I said, we don't usually dive into this stuff but this one we had to. So, as we get back on track here, the Portland Trailblazers start a 4-game stretch here at home that will basically make or break what they do this season. We'll get to that here next on Danny and Dusty, Danny the Fan.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Jeff Rust with your Sports Center update. First on The Fan, the Trailblazers look for their third straight win tonight as their homestand continues with the Grizzlies in town. 7 o'clock tip on KUNP, that is 2.2 on your antenna, or Xfinity Channel 302. DeAndre Ayton, Jabari Walker, Robert Williams III are out. Jeremy Grant doubtful. Tumani Kamara and Ryan Rupert are questionable. No Ja Morant for Memphis. The Blazers are 4.5-point home underdogs. The NCAA tournament's first four continues this afternoon. Mount St. Mary's and American battle for the 16 seed at 3:40. That winner faces Duke, and then it's 11 seeds Xavier and Texas, with the winner getting number 6 seed Illinois. Both games are on True TV. ESPN reporting the Vikings moving on from talking with Aaron Rodgers, leaving J.J. McCarthy as QB1, and the Dodgers finished off the 2-game sweep of the Cubs early this morning in Tokyo. Final score was 6-3. Shohei Ohtani, Tommy Edman, and Kike Hernandez each with a home run. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Live, local, and free. No subscription required. Portland's sports leader is 1080 The Fan. Danny Meringue.
And then I went to this movie theater. Then I made a noise like this.
Dusty Hera.
Then this was horrible. All the people started getting sick and throwing up all over each other.
I'm beginning to like this kid, Mike.
This is Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app and Portland's sports leader, 1080. The Fan.
9:03 here on Danny and Dusty on a Wednesday afternoon. Whether you're listening on 1080 AM, watching along on youtube.com/1080 AM The Fan, or twitch.tv/1080 AM The Fan. We appreciate you. We love you. The Portland Trailblazers start their 4-game make or break portion of the season. The Wizards and Raptors, the dregs of the NBA world, are done. Coming up, oh boy, does it get fun when you're talking about competitive basketball. Tonight, the Memphis Grizzlies come into Portland without Ja Morant. Then they take on the Denver Nuggets, the Boston Celtics, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. What's going to be interesting here is the Blazers are 3 games out of the play-in. They are a half game out of the 8th spot in the draft lottery. If they are going to go into the play-in, they basically have to get 2 of these games. Have to. Just for the math to math, because Dallas and Phoenix are just going through it. It is still mathematically viable.
Well, Dallas is the one, we talked about this earlier, in that the way that their 10 days are set up in their salary cap situation, it's a very high likelihood they actually have to forfeit games.
Which is why Anthony Davis is coming back, and they'll end up taking somebody off an injured report, and they'll dress him, and he won't play.
But they'll be playing a game with
5 or 6 guys.
Probably six healthy. Because you have to have 8 in order to start an NBA game.
8 quote unquote healthy.
Yikes!
It's gonna be bad.
And look, tight rotations, nothing new, but to do it for multiple games, which is what they're going to have to do.
And it's not like they have 2 or 3 games left.
No.
They've got 14, I believe.
And they're going to have to do it with the way that the 10 days are staggered, or their 2-way guys are staggered.
They only have a few games left to use those guys.
They're going to have to get real tricky with the way that they have their lineup and their roster set.
And because of the league transaction cycle, they can't actually cycle somebody out of a 2-way and into a 1 because they've already used, I believe it's a combined 60. It's 50 or 60. I can't remember what the new CBA. You can play the 2-way guys. There's a limit of either 30 or 35 under the old CBA games that a 2-way player could appear in. But collectively across all 3 of your 2-ways, you could get it up to 40 or 50. So basically you had to kind of pick and choose and this is just making a guy active.
Yeah.
That's the thing about making somebody active. So like a Ryan Rupert, when he's with the G League, like he was assigned down to the remix. Doesn't count as an active guy. But Bryce McGowan's, he was active last game against the Wizards and did appear in the game. But had he not appeared in the game, it still would have counted because he was active.
Yeah. Here's the other tricky part. So Dallas has got that going for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough putt right there.
Yeah.
Phoenix has 13 games left.
Mm-hmm.
They have got 7 of those 13 are against the Thunder, the Cavaliers, the Celtics twice, the Knicks, Rockets, and Warriors. Every single one of those teams is in a battle for playoff positioning except for
The top three.
the Thunder,
Celtics,
Cavs.
and Cavs. Well, Celtics
Yeah.
and Cavs. You put Celtics there too. And here's the thing. Tonight, the Thunder are resting guys against the Philadelphia 76ers. Why? They own the Sixers pick, top 6 protected. So they're trying to give the 76ers a win tonight.
They're tanking.
And here's the other thing. Do you think the Oklahoma City Thunder would like to play the Thunder? Or would like to play the Suns as a play-in team?
Absolutely.
So why wouldn't you sit guys against them? Give them another win.
There you go.
Or do you do it to the Mavericks? You know, you're going to look at those teams and go, how can we make these paths better for us? The one that's interesting in there is the Warriors because they're fighting for seeding. They're trying to stay out of the play-in.
Don't you think, though, like, as far as it goes for the play-in, you probably would want to avoid the Suns because of
Booker and
because
Durant.
of the talent that just the sheer talent that
Sure.
they have. Because in all reality, you don't want them in the mix because whoever they're going to be playing is in all likelihood going to be either Minnesota or the Clippers, right? Because although the 9th and 10th teams get in, it really comes down to 7 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
Those two teams have got a distinct advantage to get into that first round as the 8 seed. And the Clippers last night had a hell of a win over the Cavaliers. Like, they looked actually really damn good. Kawhi Leonard looked like he hopped in the time machine last night, dropped 33 on the Cavs.
I mean, it was incredible.
It really was incredible. James Harden was in his bag doing the acrobatic stuff again. Like, it was like, damn, that Clippers team looks saucy, and they've won 4 in a row.
So it's
without
interesting-
Ty Lue, who's injured. Ty Lue's injured,
It's
Coach.
that time of year. Tendinopathy, man. It's that time of year.
even for the coaches.
But when you look at Memphis and Denver, they're fighting for playoff seeding. Very much so. Ja is out with a hamstring tonight. I tweeted it out earlier. With Ja out tonight, he will not play in Portland for 3 years.
Dang.
It's very dumb. But Boston and Cleveland, don't be surprised if they're resting guys. They're locked up, and it's going to be the end of trips for the most part.
Yeah.
Their West Coast swing. They'll do exactly what they did when the Blazers came out and played them.
Well, the Blazers have the Celtics and Cavaliers down the stretch too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They play those. They play
got
Memphis and
all of
Denver,
them.
who are fighting for seeding, and then you have two teams that aren't.
That's good.
That have it locked in. So you look at this and you go, do the Blazers sneak a win in here, or do they steer it into the cliff? This is kind of the make or break period for what's going to happen. Because if they're going to make the play in, they basically have to go 9-4 down the stretch here. And I just don't see that happening. When I do that's a win, that's a loss. I don't really see that happening.
Well, we'll see tonight.
And that's look, if they play tonight and they get a win, you could see them try to go for it. If they don't, I think you could probably see this thing go sideways.
We should be getting close to an injury update, right? An injury report.
Yeah, the first one probably should have already come out. I believe 2 was questionable.
I found they typically tend to do that a few minutes after my final 2:30 update.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. We're right around that time.
So last night they had their still 2, but out is Da Jabari, who's recovering from the concussion, and then Rob. Jeremy is doubtful. I would be shocked if he played. 2 being questionable, still there is interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
Interesting to say the least.
Cavs.
And then Roops is questionable, but that's because he's on assignment with the G League. And it's a matter of like, do you call him up and give him some run tonight? Maybe. And I think you could start seeing some smoke signals, as it were,
Okay.
about which way things might be going over the next 4 games.
Dang. Ty Lue, intensified back pain. That's what he's out with.
That's DNP old.
Yeah, DNC did not coach.
Oh, yeah, you go. Did not
coach old. Dang. Back problems, man. Life comes at you quick, Ty Lue. Sorry, man.
Reaches out and comes for you.
He's going to have that big old Phil Jackson pad that he's sitting on. That thing was Phil Jackson used to coach on a throne.
I mean, there was probably an ego thing there, but his back was also jacked and he was huge.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why Ty Lue, he's gonna have that big old throne he's sitting on. Nice soft back pad for him.
But he'll probably have to have a little footstool so his feet can touch something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a good place to be.
Allen Iverson can step right over that on the way.
They've updated the Thunder injury report for the night, and it's everyone out. They have like 7 players listed as out.
This is, I hope, I hope it doesn't happen. But I would chuckle.
If the 76ers won.
If the 76, if the they're in the sixth pick right there,
And
and
a
they
team
get the
jumps them.
sixth pick, and OKC's like, we'll give you 6 and all of the other first round picks that we have. We want Cooper Flag. And whoever gets number 1, if they bite on it, I would chuckle a little bit, unless it's the Blazers. Then I'd just be in hell.
Oh God.
I would not like that. I would not like
No,
that.
I don't think Portland would do that.
No.
I'd be pretty shocked, knowing what I know and how they value him.
It has to be Washington. Like Washington or Charlotte. One of those two teams where they're like, we know Cooper Flag doesn't want to play for you. And we got you right here. You can have all these other picks, though. I would love it. Love it.
It's an interesting spot to be, and we'll dive into a lot of NBA prospect talk over the next 2 days up at A. We've got a lot of guests booked to dive into that over the next couple of days. But let's pivot to the NFL, the story of the day. The Minnesota Vikings have made their decision at quarterback, and we'll get to that next year on Danny Dusty, 10 of the Fan. Well, one more team has hopped off the quarterback carousel. They're going to keep it in their backyard. J.J. McCarthy is the guy the Minnesota Vikings are going to roll with. They have withdrawn, as it were, from the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes. It will be down to the Steelers and Giants.
What an opportunity.
It is now Steelers-Giants for Aaron Rodgers. We talked about this yesterday. Cam Hayward and really DK Metcalf too.
Just make a decision, dude.
Have both said, like, we're done with the waiting game. Aaron Rodgers just needs to sign with a damn team. I don't know what, and actually we know what it is. It's just he sniffs his own farts and he thinks that this is some sort of game that he's winning when he's not. He's losing. I don't know if we've seen a guy lose so much of his reputation for not really doing anything wrong. But just doing everything wrong, right? You know, like he's not a criminal.
No.
He's not a terrible teammate. All of his teammates are like, dude, we love Aaron when he's here, but we need him here.
Yeah, I mean, you listen in to McAfee with AJ, like,
they ride for him.
All those guys, right? There's a reason why Alan Lazard and Devontae Adams and Clay Matthews and AJ Hawk and all those guys, all those Packers that have followed him around everywhere because they love him.
But there's also like an element of like, well, I can see how his relationships that he has in his personal life are all strained.
Yeah.
You know, like all of his relationships in his personal life end up strained, and this is it. Like he's a extremely self-centered person. And I don't think that he would deny that. I think he's one that would be like, yeah, I am, right? But these are the elongating these decisions and these choices.
And they get worse as the talent falls off.
Oh, 100%. Because there's that sliding scale, man.
Because look, if we're talking about 34-year-old Aaron Rodgers, everybody just goes, yeah, it's whatever. Sure, I don't care. You're talking about maybe one of the 5 best quarterbacks ever play the game. Sure, I don't care.
But it's
different
to a point where you're like, it's taking too long. You need to get in with your new team. You need to have the ability to learn the offense because wherever you go, you are running somebody else's. It isn't Aaron Rodgers bringing his own offense. No. It's not. I'm going to reunite with all of my friends wherever I go and make sure that I have my cronies with me. No, you need to be a quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers within the Pittsburgh Steelers offense or the New York Giants offense. And that is where he's just going to play the waiting game. And the longer this goes, right? Say Pittsburgh says, fine, we are done. We're taking our captain's advice and Cam Hayward, and we're going to say, if you want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, you're going to be a damn Pittsburgh Steeler, or we'll go somewhere else. If they do that, then you know what New York's going to do? They're going to say, whatever you want, we'll do it. We'll do whatever you want.
Yeah, which is probably what he's holding out for.
That is
the first team to tell him, hey, you can have it however you want it.
It probably is, but I applaud the Vikings for just saying, yeah, we dabbled in it. You know, the reporting of Kevin Seifert, who covers the Vikings for ESPN, was that, the Vikings said there's a non-zero chance that they were looking into Aaron Rodgers being the next quarterback there, right? There's more than a non-zero. Yeah. So they were
kicking the tires,
saying, all right, we'll see what's there. But they got to the point where they're like, screw it. We built this roster to help J.J. McCarthy. We built up our defense. We built up a better running game to help protect a young quarterback. We know we have weapons all over the field. We're going to roll with the young guy, and we're going to see where it is. Because Kevin O'Connell has done a phenomenal job with his quarterbacks. And you need to trust that process, and I'm sure he's going, KOC's like, we're going to roll with it, man. I know how to get through to a quarterback, and I got a young one with a blank slate. Yeah, we can go win some games.
We can work it out.
Yeah.
So it's definitely one of the quarterback situations that I'm going to be watching the most as far as the young guys getting opportunities.
Yeah.
I am interested to see what J.J. McCarthy does or doesn't do.
I am too. He has the framework, but there are the questions, right? And his arm as a quarterback is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But between the ears, it's more than half. It's like 70% of the battle in the NFL. We've
seen plenty of guys who had arm questions have very good careers.
He's by every account.
There's more guys that have had arm questions but great brains that have better careers than guys who have had great arms and bad brains
Yeah.
that have had great careers.
Yep.
So,
And this is an interesting one too on the text line. Like, I would not be stunned if Aaron Rodgers pulled a fast one on everybody and went somewhere that people aren't really talking about right now. Like, the text line says, go to Tennessee. I could see him going to Tennessee. I could see him seeing the Russell Wilson thing and the reports that Russ was in Cleveland and going, I'll go to Cleveland. I'll do that. I could see him doing that and going somewhere unexpected because that's who he is. But right now it does appear that Pittsburgh and the Giants are 1 and 2.
So we'll see where that ends up. We're going to pivot back to the NCAA tournament. We have 2 teams of the first 4 in. With 2 more teams, we'll figure it out tonight. But what games are the most interesting in round 1? We'll get to that. But first, here's the Big Kahuna Sports Center update.
You ever had a Big Kahuna Burger?
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, the Trailblazers looking for their 3rd straight win as the homestand continues tonight with the Memphis Grizzlies in town. 7 o'clock tip on KUNP, 2.2 on your antenna or Xfinity Channel 302. DeAndre Ayton, Jabari Walker, Robert Williams III are out. Jeremy Grant is doubtful. Tumani Kamara, Ryan Repair are questionable. No Ja Morant for Memphis. The Blazers are 4.5-point home dogs. A little NBA action on 910 ESPN Portland this evening. The Lakers hosting the Nuggets. Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray questionable for Denver. LeBron James is out. Luka Doncic probable for LA. 7 o'clock tip. Pregame coverage starts at 6:30. That game can also be seen on ESPN. The NCAA tournament's first 4 continues this afternoon. Mount St. Mary's and American battle for the 16 seed at 3:40. Winner faces Duke. Then it's 11 seeds, Xavier and Texas, with that winner getting number 6 seed Illinois. Both games are on True TV. And ESPN reporting the Vikings indeed moving on from talking with Aaron Rodgers, leaving J.J. McCarthy as QB1. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Russ from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Jump back to earlier parts of your favorite fan shows on the Odyssey app. The only way to rewind Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
Hey, it's Suk, and
One of the greatest days of the sports calendar is less than 24 hours away. The madness is upon us. It is Madness Eve. Ladies and gentlemen, let's college basketball. We've got some opening day matchups that are going to be set in stone, or are set in stone. We will know the other two participants tonight in Xavier, Texas, and then two other teams I don't care about.
Oh.
Sorry.
You don't care about American University?
No, not unless it's followed by American military.
No, you hate America.
I do.
And Mount St. Mary's?
Does American University
Wait.
play in the Gulf of America?
No. I don't know where. Do you know where either one of? I think Mount St. Mary's is in New Jersey.
I think it's New York. I think American University. I think it's in Virginia.
All right.
I think.
Mount St. Mary's. I don't even know where it is.
It's in D.C., yeah. So American University
Frederick
is in
County,
D.C.
Maryland.
Maryland.
Okay.
Emmitsburg, Maryland.
There you go.
Did anybody go to Mount St. Mary's? Why does Mount St. Mary's stick out to me?
St. Mary sounds familiar because of LeBron.
Well, no. What?
St. Mary's High School?
Yeah. No, Mount St. Mary's. I don't know. I feel like there's a notable alumni from there.
Probably.
I don't know. Everybody's got some notable alumni, huh?
Even Eastern Illinois.
You're damn right. Notable people. There we go. Let's go there.
What are we working with? We're dealing with a lot of the arts.
Todd Bowles.
No kidding.
Yeah. Todd Bowles, Mount St. Mary's. There you go.
Everybody's got one.
Outside of that, boy. Do you know Edward J. Flanagan?
No.
Me neither. He founded Boys Town in 1921.
No. Okay.
Oh, no.
No.
John Hughes. Not that
Not
John
that
Hughes.
John Hughes.
No. Archdiocese of New York from 1842 to 1864.
Yeah.
Not the same John Hughes.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, I'm not seeing much of I'm not finding anything.
So yeah, like I said, not top of my docket. Now, Xavier, Texas, that I'll tune in for.
I will. Yeah.
I'll have that going on an alternate screen up in Media Row for sure.
Boy, Todd Bowles is a runaway.
Yeah.
I mean, it is not even close.
Is it better to be
Fred Carter?
Is it better to be the 72nd best alumni from a great school, or the number one alumni by far from a small school? Because Todd Bowles probably gets some good treatment when he goes back.
Yeah, I'll go with the big school one.
Okay.
Because I mean, I will just go to my beloved Southern Oregon University, where Ty Burrell is a passionate alum of. But everybody knows him as an Oregon fan.
That's fair.
It's like everybody's like, yeah, he went to Oregon for a year.
Well, it's like the old joke. What do Oregon Ducks fans and Oregon State fans have in common? Neither one went to Oregon.
Well, he did. He went there for a year.
Okay.
And then he was like, I'm going to go to the Harvard of the Rogue Valley.
There you go.
I'm going to Southern Oregon University.
Usually works the other way around, but hey.
Well, it is the Harvard of the Rogue Valley. Well, it's a mixed bag.
Oh?
It's a mixed bag. Yeah. There was a lot of people. Ian Carmel did this. Ian lived in my dorm, and then he lasted a year, and then he transferred to Portland State.
My wife
up.
did Oregon for a year and then Portland State.
Yeah, he went up, came back up here. So it's a mixed bag.
There you
We get a little bit of both.
Well, speaking of Oregon Ducks, they have one of the more interesting games.
Dude, yeah, going down the list of intriguing matchups, that one is an intriguing matchup with Liberty.
Despite it being a larger spread, there's volatility to that game because, as we mentioned when we were talking about the preview of some of these, Liberty has one of the best three-point offenses in the country and one of the best three-point defenses in the country. And the Oregon Ducks offensively rely on that three ball.
And
quite substantially.
They can be streaky. It opens up so much when those shots are falling for Nate Biddle. But I think Biddle will be an equalizer because of how well he's been playing lately. But when Oregon is at their best, they are knocking down threes. And look, streaky teams are scary in the NCAA tournament.
On both sides.
On both sides. And if Liberty gets hot, like, watch out.
They're
because you could get in trouble.
They shoot 40% from three.
The other thing about this Liberty team is that 5 of their 6 losses this season are within 5 points.
Because they have the ability to get right back into a game real quick.
And 3 of those 6 have been three of those 5 games have been within 1 possession. Like when they're losing, they're not getting blown out. So they keep it close, they keep it tight. And so that is an intriguing matchup. But I mean, I think tomorrow when it starts, Creighton Louisville, that game to me, I don't understand first how that's an 8-9 matchup.
Yeah.
But because you're sitting there and you're looking at that going, a 1 seed has got to take on either one of those teams in the round of 32.
Tough place.
That doesn't seem fair. And we talked about this earlier with the way that the SEC got swooped up all those 1 seeds. I mean, Auburn is the number 1 overall seed in the tournament, and they're going to have to play Louisville or Creighton. Kalkbrenner at Creighton is a disruptor.
Yeah.
And he can be a problem for you. Louisville is far better than a team that is an 8 seed. A lot of folks believe that the committee is sitting there. What were you looking at when you put Memphis on the 5 line and Louisville on the 8? Because all of the metrics kind of lead you to believe that those two would be flipped.
Yeah.
And
even though Memphis is the conference tournament champion, blah, 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 all those kind of things, like still, because Memphis is actually a dog to Colorado State in the opening round.
Yep. And so I'm looking forward to that. That game, Ashworth too, for Creighton, that 1-2 punch of Kalkbrenner Ashworth. If you're Auburn, you don't want to be looking at that or Louisville.
No, Kalkbrenner's tested, man. Like he's stamped as far as an NCAA tournament guy. True 7-footers with skill are a problem in the NCAA tournament.
And that game kicks off the tournament. Like the committee knew that game is going to be a hell of a game.
It's going to have some juice to it. The one that I'm watching here, it's a 2.5-point game. San Diego, Michigan. Michigan, when you're talking about volatility, it's not necessarily in the shooting, it is in the turnovers. Danny Wolf is somewhere in between 16 and 28 in the NBA draft. He's a 7-footer who's very skilled. He's an incredible passer. Like Michigan runs 4 or 5 pick and rolls with their 5 as the ball handler. It's very weird. He also has a damn near 30% turnover rate. That ball, you don't know where it's going to end up sometimes. And they are a team that can have insane amounts of turnovers.
What's interesting about this UC San Diego team, which is a darling and people love them, who's the best team that they've played this year? Like, if you look at like net rating or KenPom, like they're between, I think it's 10 in net rating, the difference between Michigan, the 5 seed, and UC San Diego, the 12 seed, or 12 in KenPom. They're really close together for what the lines would tell you. But you also look at this UC San Diego team, which has been lighting up the stat sheets, and you go, well, what's the best team they played? Because it may be the team that got run out of the gym by North Carolina last night, and it was the first game of the season. It might be San Diego State.
Yeah, it's going to be them or Pepperdine. And they beat Pepperdine handily in game 2. But, I mean, other than that, James Madison's down. Just scrolling through. Utah State, no. Yeah, it's not great.
They're not playing a lot of tournament teams.
Not great.
And so that's the question that I have about UC San Diego. Like, they are the darling, Charmin soft with the schedule.
Yeah, 100%.
And the Big West is not fantastic.
No, not to say the least. All right, we'll wrap up today's show. We'll take a look at the Blazers taking on the Memphis Grizzlies minus Ja Morant. Next, here's we wrap up the show. Danny and Dusty, Danny the Fan.
It's time for Legends of Hoop, an inside look at the college basketball championships. Brought to you by Legends Casino Hotel, within winning distance.
Obviously, our game plan was not good enough. We tried to switch ball screens front, but they drove us. They got it over the top, and we got down by so many at that point. You're just trying to find a way to go on any kind of run.
That was head coach Brian Dutcher at San Diego State at what went wrong for San Diego State.
Well, I'll tell you.
Boy, it went wrong everywhere.
It was a whole lot of everything. Stars went cold. You went ice cold from 3. They saved face by shooting 29%. Make no mistake, they were shooting about 17 to 15% from 3 most of the game.
Yeah, it's not a place you want to end up being, and that's what they're going to end up resting their season on. Legends of Hoop is brought to you by Legends Casino Hotel. Escape to Legends Casino Hotel within winning distance. Just a short drive to Tompanish, Washington. The ultimate destination for fun and relaxation, legendscasino.com.
Goodbye, Gino.
Traded by the Seahawks to the Raiders for a third-round pick.
I think that's a nice grab for Seattle.
Hello, Sam.
This is a win-now move.
Will it be a win-now move? I don't know, but it is in their minds a win-now move.
You give a guy $100 million with 55 guaranteed. You believe in him. You believe you can win with him. And yesterday, the Seahawks finally did it.
Talk about it and get the inside story from the home of the Seahawks and the NFL. 1080.
Holy catfish!
The Fan.
Time is ticking away. Don't let another minute pass. Plan your retirement now with Trajan Wealth for the future you deserve. Call Trajan today at TrajanWealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, go to work. But with breakfast from Wendy's, it's like, wake up, brush teeth, Baconate with a breakfast Baconator. Roll with a sausage breakfast burrito. Buddy it up with a honey buddy. Or get seasoned with seasoned potatoes. And then go to work. Sorry. When you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S.
As we get out of here, the Portland Trailblazers are taking on the Memphis Grizzlies tonight.
Oh, boy.
And I'm mad. No John Morant. They don't play the Grizzlies again the rest of the season. So unless the Grizzlies and Blazers play in the first week of the season next year, it will go 3 calendar years without John Morant being active in Portland.
That's crazy to think about.
It happened with Joel Embiid. He went 3.5 years between 2017 and 2021. Really? It happened, yeah. And look, it happens actually quite often because Portland is an outpost.
Yeah.
It's usually at the end of a long trip, either coming up the West Coast or maybe you have one more and you're going to Denver and you're like, screw this, we're going to rest before we go into altitude. And it's just something that the league has to take care of, man. I'm sick and tired of. Now, Jaws out with a hamstring tonight. And it would. It actually would, because now you're looking at it like it becomes a trip that's much more manageable, as does adding Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, when you go to the West, you play more games in a shorter trip span. And those are the kind of things where you can probably avoid some of this.
That's what baseball is looking at, the University of Portland, too. Or the University of Portland. They're looking at Portland for baseball, too, because the Mariners Like the Mariners are an outpost city.
They're nowhere near anything.
The closest team is Oakland,
Sacramento.
Well, now see this year Sacramento.
So they're a little closer.
Yeah, but then you take the A's and you plop them in Vegas.
Now it's even further.
It's crazy to think about how far away the Mariners are, isolated from everybody else.
It's
and the
why
Blazers go through
Utah
the
and
same
Portland
thing.
make so much sense.
Yeah, for Major League Baseball.
Yes.
I hope. Keep my fingers crossed.
Those drawings are beautiful.
The drawings are beautiful. Drawings get me every time.
The renderings, man, they get you.
It's like the Masters dinner menu gets me. I just get roped in and I just look at them. Tony Gwynn instructional hitting videos. Just things I just love to look at.
Lamb. What's yours? What's your main course?
At
the Masters,
when I win the Masters, I'm going steak too.
Okay.
Like I'm going steak, and I'm gonna go. My fish option is gonna be salmon.
That's got to be
It's gonna be salmon. I'm going steak and I'm going salmon.
Pacific salmon.
That you're. What are we talking
They
about?
have that Atlantic salmon they have at
We're not
Costco. I'm like, what are we
that.
doing here?
We're not doing that.
Come on.
I mean, we're gonna go and we're gonna catch it with our bare hands. Damn it. Yeah, and then I'm going like mashed potatoes, maybe a little rosemary mashed potatoes, huh? Yeah.
Rosemary. Severely underrated.
Let's go. I'll get you the rest of my menu later. All right. I'm going to Mexico.
Enjoy.
Yeah, you guys enjoy going up to ALNA tomorrow.
We will.
And I'll be back next week. Up next, you got 4 hours of power from their mouths to your ears. It's prime time with Isaac and Souk. Have a great Wednesday, everybody.
Bye.
This is Rick Jones of Goldberg Jones Divorce for Men. Child custody is